The usual 200 people,
Oh, right. Okay. The word is out.
The word is out. Okay, we left off yesterday on Ayin Zayin in 77b. Ayin Zayin, Amud Beis, finishing up the previous Mishnah about things that are sold with a boat. Let's wait for Steve.
Very familiar with selling. You disappeared.
Yeah, I just went to open the windows.
Open the windows. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So 77b, we're finishing off the Mishnah and starting a new Mishnah. The Mishnah said that when you sell a boat, you sell a sfina, and you don't specify what exactly you're including. What's not included are the different servants that come along with the boat. Velo esa martzufin, velo esa antiki. So says the Gemara, what's an antiki? My antiki. So Amar of Papa, iska de begava. Rashbam says the pragmatia, the different cargo. You're carrying stuff on the ship that you're going to use to buy and sell. So just because you sold the ship, it doesn't mean you want to sell the $130,000 diamonds you have under the ship too. If you want to sell those, then you'd have to specify them. So if the buyer buys just the ship, he cannot say that he also has acquired the different cargo that's on your ship. Okay, continuing with things that a person sells and doesn't specify exactly. So what's included? Machar es akaron, you sell a wagon. Like machar es predos, you don't sell the mules. Machar es predos, if you're going to sell the mules, lo machar es akaron, then you have not sold the wagon. Machar es tzemed, lo machar es bakar. So you have here cattle, and a tzemed is the yoke, meaning it's matzmitz. Matzmitz means to put together. So it's keeping the two animals together. The two oxes together. Oxen. So you have two oxen that are held together by the yoke. So if you just sell the yoke, so then lo machar es bakar, then you haven't sold the oxen. Machar es bakar, lo machar es tzemed. If you just sell the oxen, then the yoke is also not included. Comes now a cryptic line, which will be a big discussion coming up. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Hadamim Modian. He says, if you have this debate, let the money tell you, be modia you, what's included. Which is the first time we've seen this. And all the commentators ask, this whole chapter and the previous chapter, we never say let the money be the witness. So in this case, a yoke cost a few dollars and the oxen cost a few $100s. So the guy goes and gives him $500. So obviously he's not just paying for the yoke. He's paying for the oxen also. So that's Rabbi Yehuda. Hadamim Modian. Ketzad. Amar lo machli timdecha. Sell me your yoke. B'masayim zuz. This guy's willing to pay 200 zuz for just the yoke. Hadar yadua. She'ein hatzamen b'masayim. Everyone knows that a yoke is not worth 200 zuz. So therefore, must be that he was selling also the cattle, the oxen with the yoke. The Chachamim Omrim, and this is going to be two opinions what they really hold. Ein hadamim raya. They say the money is not a proof. Does that mean that the money is not a proof, and therefore the sale is not a good sale, or the money is not a proof, and maybe part of it's a good sale? So that we will have to see. Okay. Tani Rav Tachlifa Bar Marava. That Rav Tachlifa taught Kamed Rabbi Abo in front of Rabbi Abo the following. Machar es hakaron. He taught the following brisa. Machar es hakaron, machar es predos. If you sell a wagon, you sell the mules with the wagon. So v'ha'anan tan, but we said, Rabbi Abo responds the exact opposite in our Mishnah. V'ha'anan lo machar tanan. But we said that you have not sold the the mules with the wagon. If you only sell a wagon, only a wagon's included, and a mule is not included. Now you could say one's a brisa, one's a mishnah, so they're allowed to argue with each other. But we usually like to limit as much as we can disagreement. And furthermore, it would seem like this mishnah, that part is not up for debate. We never found someone who disagrees about that. So that's why he responds, Amar le Ismay, should I delete the brisa? Meaning he said that he says no one disagrees with this. Our mishnah, that's the opinion that's universal. So this brisa, he doesn't know now. Should he delete it or not? Amar le lo. You don't have to delete the brisa. You could reinterpret it in the following way. Targim masnisaich ba'adukimbo. You know why the Mishnah said that when you sell a wagon, the mules come along with it? That's because they're actually tied together. Adukimbo. They're connected. When they're connected, then the brisa would say that one comes with the other. But our Mishnah must be talking about a case where they're not connected. And therefore, when you just sell a wagon, then the mules do not come along with it. So really, there's no debate between the Mishnah and the brisa. It just depends if the items are connected or if the items are not connected. Yeah. Okay. So now, machar es atzemed, lo machar es bakar. So we had in our Mishnah that whether you sell the yoke, so you don't sell the oxen. If you sell the oxen, you don't sell the yoke. Rabbi Yehuda said though, if a guy's willing to pay $200, 200 zuz for tzemed for yoke, then you know obviously he's buying the oxen also. And the Chachamim seem to disagree with that. Right now we understand them to mean that no, ein hadamim raya, and he still only sold the yoke. The fact that he gave $200, 200 zuz for yoke, so maybe he was giving him a present. But you don't assume that that the money itself should be considered a witness.
Golden covered yoke.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Exactly. Golden covered yoke. So heichidami. So when would you think the yoke's included in the oxen? It's not included in the oxen. What's the case exactly? Ilema de karulet simda simdo lebakar bakar. So if everyone calls yoke yoke and oxen oxen, so then pshita simda zavinle bakar lo zavinle. Obviously, if everyone refers to yoke as yoke, then you don't assume that the guy bought the oxen also. The elo de karule nami. The elo de karule nami lebakar simda. So maybe, and if people refer to lebakar tzimda, if people refer to oxen, when they say, instead of, hey, bring that ox over here, they say, hey, bring that yoke over here. That's the way they refer to the oxen. So then kule zavinle, then you sold everything, the ox and the yoke. So we need it for a case, our machlokas in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda, and the Chachamim is in the following case. Lo tzricha ba'asra de karule Litzimda Simda, Bakar Bakar. It's a place where people refer to yoke, yoke, ox, ox. That's fine. However, the Ikanami Dikaru Lebakar Simda. There are those that do refer to oxen as yoke. So generally, oxen, yoke, yoke. However, there are those that refer to oxen as yoke. So now, Rabbi Yehuda says, well, Savar Hadamim Modian. He says that, okay, so if that's the case, so now you don't know what to do. So the fact that you paid $200 for this must be that you wanted the oxen also. And it's not so crazy because there are those people that refer to oxen as yoke. So therefore, it's logical to say that plus the money you paid was such an exorbitant amount that it must be obviously we understood your words to mean that you wanted the oxen also.
Yeah, because they often call it a yoke of oxen.
Yoke of oxen.
It's a gather together.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the Rabbanan say, "V'Rabbanan savri ein hadamim raya," and the Rabbanan say that the money is not approved, and therefore, what's going to happen is, since the money is not approved, right now we understand it to mean you've only acquired the yoke, and you've not acquired the oxen.
Get the yoke.
Right. Okay. So now we're going to get into a discussion following it. Part of the discussion is beyond the scope of Bava Batra. We have to go backwards to above Mציעא or forwards as 6.5 years. But basically, in general, when you overpay for something, so if it's more than a sixth, so then usually the sale is nullified and you have to return the money. If it's less than a sixth, so then the sale is not nullified and you would have to, I believe, return the money. Now, there are certain cases that doesn't apply. By servants and by land, those rules don't apply. So now we're going to talk about this case. You paid for what's worth $1, $200. So, and it wasn't a math major, but there's definitely more than a sixth, right? So says the Gemara like this. So, ein hadamim raya. So, okay. So the money is not a raya, but it seems like according to the Chachamim that the yoke is sold, just the oxen aren't sold. So you paid $200. So Rabbi Yehuda says you get everything, even the oxen's included, because you paid $200. And the Rabbanan say it would seem the implication of the Mishnah would be that you have not acquired the oxen, you have acquired the yoke. So says the Gemara, I don't understand. Lahave bittul mekach is way more than a sixth. It should be a totally nullified deal over here. So says the Gemara, v'chitema bittul mekach l'rabbanon leslahu. So maybe you'll say that they don't hold to this idea of bittul mekach. Maybe they don't hold to this idea that when you pay so much, in this case, it should be nullified. Is that really true? The Hatanah, we have a Mishnah Bava Batra that says that along with the land and the servants, Rabbi Yehuda Omer Hamocher Sefer Torah Behema Umargalis Ein Lahem Ona. Rabbi Yehuda adds 3 things to our usual list of things that Ona, overcharging, doesn't apply to. A Sefer Torah, it's usually priceless, right? You can't put a price on a Sefer Torah. So that's what I think it's explained over there. So therefore, just because you paid a lot of money for a Sefer Torah, we don't view that as that you charge a lot. And then Behema Umargalis. So Behema Umargalis. So Behema Umargalis are things that often people want either their animal for their yoke, or they want to buy or a diamond. They want to match up their diamonds. So sometimes they would pay a lot of money for an animal or pay a lot of money for a diamond. So therefore, the fact that you overcharge them more than a sixth doesn't mean, since they're often sold for more money, they're very hot commodities. So therefore, there also wouldn't be ona there. But amru lo, but the Chachamim responded to Rabbi Yehuda, lo amru ella es elu. No, we only agree that the other cases, meaning servants and land, won't have the halacha of ona, of overcharging. These cases we don't agree with. So you see that the Rabbanan only agreed to a few cases by overcharging, by land and by servants, like the Mishnah over there spoke out. So in our case also, what should happen is that why is the yoke sold? You paid a lot of money for the yoke, way more than people normally pay. The yoke is not something that is excluded from the rules of overcharging. That's specific to only certain cases like land and servants, but in this case not. So what's the logic of the Chachamim? Yeah. Okay, we won't do. Yeah. Okay, so there's a very long Rashbam here who wants to basically reread the Gemara a very different way, but we'll leave it out. Fine. So says the Gemara, when the Chachamim said in our Mishnah, Ein damim raya, Mai ein damim raya. So we thought that it meant the money's not a proof, and therefore the oxen are not sold, and only the yoke is sold. So what does it mean? Mai ein damim raya, nami dekatani, dehave bittul mekach. The money's not a proof, and therefore the whole sale should be null and void. The whole sale should be null and void. Yeah, the whole thing. The oxen aren't sold, and because you paid so much money, ain't hadamim raya for anything. The money's not approved for anything, and therefore nothing is sold. So originally we thought that, of course, the yoke is sold. Now we're saying that nothing is sold. Okay. V'bais ema, no. Maybe understand it in the following way. Ki amar rabbanan ona ubitel mekach. That's only bichdei shadas toa. When do the rabbanan say this idea that overcharging and nullification of a sale, that's only when the das is toa. When a person makes a mistake, they think that it cost $100, but really it only cost $30, and they made an honest mistake. That's where we'll say, okay, that's called a mekach tos. That's a mistaken sale. The same way you go to a store and you want to buy a car and they give you a chair, you understand there very clearly that that's not what you purchased. So similarly, if a person was under an impression that something costs, more money than it really costs, that's also going to be a nullified sale. However, but in an event that ain't a das toa, everybody knows that a yoke does not cost $200. The guy didn't make an honest mistake. He wrote a check of $2,000, $200 for just a yoke. So in that case, what do you say? Lo emar, rather lo emar matana yahevle. You have to say that he's giving him a present. Really, he's paying for the yoke, and the rest of the money must be a present. Yeah. Okay. So basically, to summarize, our Mishnah talked about selling a yoke and selling oxen, and then according to Rabbi Yehuda, the money could serve to as a factor because you paid so much money. Obviously, you bought the oxen also. While the Chachamim were going to say either one of two things: either you're going to say Ein Hadam Raya and nothing is good, or you'll have to say another answer is that maybe you consider the additional money that was spent over here as a present. Right, so I guess it depends on which one of those two answers you hold will make a very big difference. The guy goes and pays $200 for yoke, and now he finds out, so now how do you view it? The guy now wants his money back. We say, sorry, you gave it as a present, or we say, of course, we'll give you the money back. This was a total bad sale. Okay, continuing to the next Mishnah of different sales that.
Then we don't have an absolute decision. It could
Right,
be
so
the other.
if you see that small in the regular Gemaras, there's a little bays by the second answer. So not always, but often that means that the halacha. It's just telling you that it tells you where to look to find the halacha. Often it also means that we're siding with that opinion. But we have to look it up. How exactly it's brought down. It's brought down in Shulchan Aruch. Okay. So hamocher es chamer. You are selling a donkey. Now, a donkey, there are things that are on the donkey that are used just to simply ride the donkey, and there are things on the donkey that are used to carry your luggage, to carry your cargo. So now, when you sell a donkey, which parts are for sure included in the sale? Which parts are not included? So, hamocher es chamer lo macher kelev. The first opinion says when you sell a donkey, so that's all you sold. You only sold a donkey. Nothing else comes along with it. So what are the kelev? We'll see soon. Nachum Hamadi Omer. Nachum Hamadi. So he says macher kelev. He argues when you sell a donkey, the vessels, we'll see what those are included in the sale. Rabbi Yehuda Omer pa'amim mechurin pa'amim eina mechurin. Sometimes they're sold and sometimes they're not sold. Third opinion. So now, what's the case? Ketzad. Haya chamer lefanav. You have a donkey in front of you, the kelev alav, and it's carrying upon it vessels. The amar lo machor li chamor chazeh, and the buyer says, "Sell me this donkey." If he says, "Sell me this donkey," the one that has the vessels on it, so then kelav mechurin. So then, of course, the vessels are sold with it. However, if he says hamorchahu, he doesn't say this donkey, just that donkey. So that just means ein kelav mechurin. The vessels are not sold because he just is referring to he just wants a donkey. So, now what if this is the only one that's here? So yeah, it says I guess chamorchahu is a more general language. He's not specifying this specific donkey that has all the kelav on it.
It's more like sell me the donkey, sell me this donkey in this state.
Exactly. Sell me the donkey in this state. As opposed to just sell me the donkey. So all you sold was whatever's in your words. What's your word? Donkey. So he gets the donkey. So 3 opinions. Either the vessels are never sold, either the vessels are always sold, or it depends. Depends if you said zeh or if you said who. So now, this is going to be, a fun Gemara, like a classic Gemara. So Ula is going to talk about what exactly is the case where there's a machlokas, and it's going to be, and then we're going to continue trying to figure out what the case is for a while. So Amar Ula says machlokas besak vediskia vekumni. Ula says when it says kelav, so it's talking about a sak, a diska, and a kumni. So these are different things that are used to carry that you use to carry your things on the donkey.
Saddlebag and side saddle.
Right, a saddlebag. Yeah, those words didn't help me so much, but so you have to have been there, I guess. So a saddlebag or a side saddle, things that you use to carry your things on the donkey.
It's stuff used for you to ride on.
For you to ride?
No,
not yet. No, not yet.
No.
To carry with. We'll get to ride it in 1 second. So basically, different things, different bags, and different things that you use that you attach the donkey. You can't carry it all in your hands while driving the donkey. So you have different, compartments on the donkey where you put your stuff in. And also a kumni. Kumni, we're going to see what it means. Kumni was basically a special thing that a woman used. That when she sat on the donkey, there's a certain seat that was more comfortable for her to sit on. For a man, when he sat on the donkey, he didn't need this. So for a woman, it was used for riding, but only for her. Really, it's if it's not used for her, it's more used for something to carry things with. It's more used as a muscle, as a just something that you put on the donkey, but you don't need it for riding. Okay, so now Amar Ula machlokas besak v'diska v'kumni. So now, what's the machlokas Tanakama? Tanakama savar stam chamer. A regular donkey is lirchov kai, is generally used for riding, and therefore, if you sell a donkey, only things that are for riding are included. Things that are for carrying your cargo with, you're schlepping. That's a good word. So you won't find it in the art scroll, but that's the best definition. Schlepping. Yeah, it's used for riding. But Nachman Madi savar, no, stam chamer lemasui kai. A stam chamer is for schlepping. And therefore, whatever you need to schlep, all your extra bags and all your extra side saddles and saddlebags and bags for saddle, etc. So all those things are included. So it's a machlokas Tanakama Nachamadi. How do you view a regular donkey? Obviously, some donkeys are used from traveling from point A to point B. Obviously, other donkeys are used when you have to carry a lot of things with you. Use the donkey. But a regular donkey, how do you view it? Do you view it like it's a riding donkey, or you view it like a schlepping donkey? If you view it as a schlepping donkey, then things that are used to schlep are included with the donkey. Things that are, if it's a riding donkey, then things that are used to schlep are not included. Aval ukaf umardaas kilkali v'chavak divrei hakol mechurin. So ukaf and a mardas are a saddle and a blanket. A kilkali is something used to tie the ukaf, to tie the saddle onto the donkey. And the chavak, I don't know, the Rishbam says it's called a potril. I'm not sure what a potril is. It says here, some kind of strand. I guess it's what'd you say? A strap. So yeah, so those things are all used for regular riding. A saddle, and then you put the blankie under it. I think that's probably for you to sit on maybe. And then you have what ties the saddle to the donkey. And then you have the strap on the saddle. Those are all things that are generally used just for riding a donkey. So of course, divrei hakol mechurin, those things you use all the time. Even when you're schlepping stuff, you still need a saddle and a blankie and a strap. So therefore, everyone agrees that those are always included. The machlokus is by the schlepping accessories. Are those included or not? Depends if you view a donkey as a schlepper or view a donkey as a rider, as a riding donkey. Okay, meisvei. So we have now a brisa that says chamor v'kelev ani mocher lach. The brisa says chamor v'kelev ani mocher lach harei zeh mocher. If you say donkey, that you're selling a donkey and its accessories, so then what happens? Harei zeh mocher es ha'uka v'es ha'mardas v'es ha'kilkuli v'es ha'chavak. If you say I'm selling you a donkey and its vessels and its accessories, so then you have sold all the riding accessories. You sold the saddle and the blinky, the string that ties the saddle, and the strap. Ubizman she'amarlo hi v'kol ma she'alav harei kulan mechurin. When are these things sold? It's only when you said that you're selling the donkey v'kol ma she'aleha. Only when you specify the donkey and everything that's on the donkey, then all these accessories are sold. Says the Gemara, Taima the Amarle Chamer v'Kelev, who Dikani Uka from Mardas, but hello Amarle Hachilo. It's only when you said Chamer v'Kelev have you sold all the things on the donkey. But when you haven't specified Chamer v'Kelev, then you haven't sold them. So what do you see? If you only specify Chamer, if you only say I'm selling you a donkey, all these accessories would not be included. So we just said that no matter what happens, when you sell a donkey, all the regular riding accessories are always going to be included. And yet the brisa says you have to specify, you have to say Chamer v'Kelev. But if you didn't say v'Kelev and its accessories, so then they would not be included. So that seems to be a contradiction to the way Ula explained our Mishnah. So says the Gemara, lo. No. They add in the word lo. Hu adin the afal gav de lo amar le chamer v'kelev. Even if you didn't say chamer v'kelev, nami ukav umardas mechurin. So those riding accessories are still sold with the donkey. So what does it mean that you have to say chamer v'kelev? The hakamash malan, it's coming to teach you something else. It's not coming to teach you, it's not coming to include the riding accessories, it's coming to exclude the schlepping accessories. So it says chamer v'kelev includes the riding accessories to teach you hakamash malan, the alpha gav amar le chamer v'kelev, even when you said chamer v'kelev. However, sak v'diskia v'kumni lokani, but the regular saddle and saddlebags, the kumni are not acquired. That's all that brisa taught, and therefore it's not at all a contradiction to our Mishnah. Mai kumni, what is kumni? Amar of Papa Bar Shmuel, Meir Kafta Denashi. It's a special thing that when a woman rides, so she needs that for her to sit on, to ride on. Rashbam here explains a little bit more.
It's a tzad saddle.
It's a?
The woman sits side saddle.
That's what I want. Side
I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of the queen riding the horse.
If I did, I don't remember them so well.
She would sit almost facing the side.
Uh-huh.
You know, they sit with both legs on the same side.
Together.
That's interesting.
It's a sneeze thing.
Right, yeah, it's for tznius, yeah. So it's just interesting because even though generally when a woman rides the donkey, she uses this, so it's a riding accessory.
Mhm.
But in the usual case, we view it more as a schlepping accessory and not a riding accessory. Since when a man rides a donkey, he doesn't need this. I guess it seems like more commonly than not, it was men riding, because meaning if it was even, so then you could hear why it could be also a riding
It
accessory.
was a woman goes in the cart that you did or didn't buy with the donkey.
That's correct.
You meant the
That's
women-
correct.
No, you meant the women part.
You heard it here first. I didn't say it. So there's a screened Portland going. Yeah, okay. Ibailahu. Ibailahu. So here we go. This is interesting. So Ibailahu, we have a question over here. This question is, we just spent, I don't know, 10, 15 lines talking about if the accessories and which accessories are included or not, right? And we concluded that according to one opinion, the schlepping accessories are included, and according to everybody, the riding accessories are included. So says the Gemara, do they have to be on the donkey or not? Ibailahu. Ba'odin alav machlokas. That machlokas is only when they're on the donkey. Aval b'she'enan alav. However, when they're not on the donkey, modilahu nachum hamadi. Nachum hamadi would agree that if they're not on the donkey, then only the donkey is sold. Right? All of these schlepping accessories have to be on the donkey, but maybe if they're off the donkey, he agrees that they're not sold. Odilma b'she'enan alav machlokas. The machlokas is specifically where the accessories are not on the donkey. Aval ba'odin alav module rabbanon lenachum. However, if the schlepping accessories were on the donkey, then even the rabbis would agree that they're sold along with the donkey. So
Items that should be
Right now,
put
so-
on the donkey.
right, so right now we're only talking about the schlepping items.
Okay.
I was just thinking the same thing. What are the regular riding accessories? Sounds like that's not a question. They're always sold no matter what.
Okay.
Right now. That's what it would seem like. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, when you sell a car, you have a seat inside.
Correct. Right.
When
The
you sell
car.
a car, you have the
Oh,
seat as
yeah,
well.
seat, right.
Correct.
Maybe not the trunk, but the seat.
Yeah, that's interesting. Jules, the Tosas on the side asks your question. And Tosas says that the regular riding accessories, even when they're not on the donkey, then they're still acquired. Because they're like part of the donkey, they're part of the accessory of the donkey. Yeah. But he says the Rashbam does not explain that way. Okay?
Mhm.
Interesting. Yeah, the Rashbam says exactly the opposite. The Rashbam says that even the riding accessories, if they're not on the donkey, maybe they won't be sold. Yeah, interesting. So your questions are debate. The Rashbam and the Bali Tosos. Interesting what that debate.
Two rabbis and three.
The debate, I mean, it would seem to be how much are these riding accessories really part of the donkey? I mean, is it like a car and a seat? When you say car, you mean 4 seats, 5 seats in the car, right?
Right.
But a donkey, is it its own exclusive entity, or do you view the ukaf, the saddle, as really part and parcel of the donkey? So that might be a little bit behind that machlokas. Okay, so let's figure out where is this machlokas. Ba'odalav, not ba'odalav. Is it on the animal, not on the animal? So Tashma. Bizman sha'amar lo hu v'kol ma sha'alav harei kulan mechurin. So that was our brisa that we just brought. The end of that brisa said, at the time that the seller says, the donkey, the kol masha olav, whatever's on the donkey, hare kulan mechurin. Everything is sold with the donkey. Now that brisa was talking about the riding accessories. And then it says, if you would say kol masha olav, so then whatever is on the donkey is sold with it. So now, if you're going to tell me that the whole dispute in our Mishnah is only when the items are actually on the donkey, so then this and therefore there that's where Nachum Hamadi would say it's sold, and the Rabbanan would still say that it's not sold, right? So the first understanding is, even when the items are on the donkey, there's still a debate if they are sold with a donkey or not. Nachum would say yes, and the Rabbanan would say no. if that's the understanding, so then that's very good. How many Rabbanan? This brisa would be authored by the Rabbanan. Why? Because only when you say who the kol masha alav, whatever's upon the donkey, only in that case only, are the things on the donkey sold with the donkey. But if you would never say that, like our Mishnah doesn't say that, so then even when things are on the donkey, if you don't specify that you want them sold, then they will not be sold. So that would align very beautifully with our Mishnah, which basically would be that according to the rabbis, even if you have things on the donkey, you have to specify that you want those to be sold too. And if you just say chomer stam like our Mishnah, so then that would not be, the items would not be sold. So so hold on. What if you understand the dispute in our Mishnah only when the items are not on the donkey? They are not on the donkey. And that's where the Rabbanan say, that's what the rabbis say, they're not sold with the donkey. If they would be on the donkey, of course it would be sold with the donkey. You wouldn't have to specify to include them. They'd already be included. So then who is this brisa like? How many? The brisa seems like that only when you specify this donkey and whatever's on the donkey, only then would the items on the donkey be sold. But even if you have items on the donkey and you didn't specify that you want those to be sold, then they will not be sold. So according to the second interpretation, that the machlokes is only when they're not on the donkey, but if they were on the donkey, then everyone agrees, even the rabbis agree that it's sold. How many? Who is this brisa like?
Right.
So we made one assumption in the brisa, and now we're going to break it. The assumption was that the brisa is talking about a case where you have things on the donkey, because the words of the brisa was, the words of the brisa were, who? The kol masha olav. I want the donkey and whatever's on top of the donkey. That's why we thought that it's talking about a case where there are things on top of the donkey. But now we're going to say la'olam, really, eimalach b'she'ein odin alav. Really, the brisa, really we're talking about a case where b'she'ein odin alav machlokas. V'rabbanani. Really, our mission is talking about a case where there is nothing on top of the donkey. And that's the debate, the Rabbanan and Nachman Madi. And the brisa that said, the ema ubizman she'amar lahu v'kol masha ro'ili osalav. When it said in the brisa, I'm selling the donkey and whatever is included in the donkey, it wasn't referring to right now there are things on the donkey. It was really referring to the donkey and whatever is fitting to be on the donkey. So in that case, if you would specify that, so then only then would the accessories be included. But if they were actually on the donkey, they're for sure included. You have to specify that at all. So both our Mishnah and the Brisa are talking about a case where there's nothing on the donkey. And that's why the Rabbanan of our Mishnah say that only the donkey sold. If there were those schlepping accessories on the donkey, so then even without specifying, they would be included. The Brisa is just pointing out, if you want to include the accessories, even by saying, yeah, I'm selling you a donkey and whatever's on the donkey, which means whatever's fitting to be on the donkey, so then the items would be included, because schlepping items are fitting to be on the donkey if you need it for schlepping. So basically inconclusive right now. You can go both ways what the machlokas in the Mishnah is. Either the machlokas in the Mishnah is where the stuff is on the donkey, and if it's off the donkey, everyone's going to agree that it's not sold. Or the Mishnah is talking about a case where it's really off the donkey, but if it was on the donkey, then everyone would agree that it would be sold. Okay, another brisa to try to prove our point. Tashma, let's bring the end of our Mishnah as a proof. Tashma. Rabbi Yehuda said, Pa'amim mechurin, pa'amim she'enin mechurin. Sometimes the items are sold with the donkey, and sometimes they are not sold with the donkey. So, my lav, amai dekamer tanakama, hayu Rabbi Yehuda. So when Rabbi Yehuda said the statement, is he not talking about the same case that the Rabbanon were talking about? Now, what's the case of Rabbi Yehuda? Remember, he had Harei Zeh or Harei Hu. So it sounds like Rabbi Yehuda saying, if you say Harei Zeh, so then all the vessels, all the accessories are sold with a donkey. So if Rabbi Yehuda is talking about a case where a guy says Harei Zeh and the accessories are sold with the donkey, so wouldn't it make sense that he's talking about the same case that the beginning of the Mishnah is talking about? So that should show you that the beginning of the Mishnah is talking about a case where you have a donkey with its accessories on the donkey. And then Rabbi Yehuda said it depends. Harei Zeh, Harei Hu. So if that would be true, then we would prove that the beginning of our Mishnah is talking about where these schlepping accessories are on the donkey, and that's where the machlokas is. But if it was off the donkey, then even Nachal Hamadi would agree that they are not going to be sold. So that should be a good proof to our question of where the machlokas in the Mishnah is. So we say, lo, turning the page, Rabbi Yehuda, Milsa Achrisi Kamar. No, Rabbi Yehuda was talking about, the Rabbanon were talking about where the items are not on the donkey. But if they were on the donkey, then everyone's going to agree it's going to be sold. And comes Rabbi Yehuda and says, even if they're on the donkey, so it depends what you say. Meaning, in our beginning of our Mishnah, there's what the Mishnah is talking about, and it's what it's not talking about, the implication of the Mishnah. Right? If first understanding was that since Rabbi Yehuda said he's talking about a case where a donkey with its accessories, so then of course he's talking about what the Rabbanan are talking about, which is a donkey with its accessories. Now we're saying maybe Rabbi Yehuda is not commenting on the words of the Mishnah, he's commenting on the implication of the Mishnah. So if the Mishnah is talking about where the accessories are not on the donkey, and that's where the debate is, the implication would be if it would be on the donkey, everyone would agree it would be sold. On that implication, came Rabbi Yehuda and said, not so fast. Not everyone agrees it's going to be sold. I disagree. I say only when you say Harei Zeh, then it's going to be sold. But if you would say Harei Hu, then it would not be sold. Yeah, this would be a good stopping point.